Hey there, Stacy Tushel here, and with another round of the pandemic about to hit, right? We have no idea when it could come back, when that time could come back in our specific state where we shut down again. A lot of physical locations, small business owners that consider themselves brick and mortars are starting to wonder and question, like, do I have what it takes to make it through a second round of this or a second wave of the pandemic, okay? So today we're gonna be talking about, this actually prompted from somebody in my Instagram who DM'd me. This is what she said. Hi, Stacy. I listened to your podcast with Amy Porterfield. It was so great to hear someone in the digital world who is like me from the brick and mortar world. I'm a lawyer with a very successful law practice, but I want to build an online business. Could you please direct me to any of your podcasts? You might speak on this. It's quite the journey, I must say. So first of all, thank you for DMing me. Such a great question. And I could direct her to other podcasts, but I really wanted this to be relevant to 2020 and what is going on right now. Things are changing so quickly that if you are continuing to listen to dated material, don't waste your time. Like, this needs to be so relevant with everything that has been going on since 2020 has started, okay? I know a lot of brick and mortars have been hit incredibly hard. And for those of you who don't know that term, it just means like, physical locations. You go down Main Street and you see all of these businesses there. So going online is definitely starting to become more and more on people's radars. And this episode was already on my to-do list of things I wanted to do. So I appreciate the DM and kind of sparking this conversation. So what I want to kind of jump into is, and actually I prompted her and I said, give me more questions. Like, I know I'm going to do this podcast, fill me in. So I got a lot of up-to-date stuff of what she asked, and I'll kind of dive in with this with you. But I do want you to all be thinking, will my business survive? What will it take? Maybe you survived this last round, but this next round not necessarily will look exactly like this round. So if the last time you were shut down for 2 months, that doesn't mean this time you'll only be shut down for 2 months. Maybe it'll be shut down longer. Maybe it'll be 2 months here, we go back, 2 months there, we go back. Who knows, okay? It is time that you start to think, what is another way I can put more eggs in different baskets just in case? We want to make sure that that pandemic is not making your business fragile, right? And here's the thing, the pandemic didn't make it fragile. It already was fragile. It just shined a light on what we need to be focusing on. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is what, I'm going to keep her name private, but I responded and said, fill me in more. I want to hear because I want to work through this together. So she says, I've been creating online courses and a membership site since 2018 and had a blog in the food space since 2013 and a bestseller of 3 recipe books. I think I'm mostly interested in your journey, I guess, as a multi-passionate, multi-successful in more than one area. I would like to focus more in women becoming unstoppable and pursuing their freedom through business like I have. However, I struggle with feeling torn, not in time, but emotionally, and also presenting myself online as this person who has all these things going on. I see that in your bio, you focus on the online component of your life rather than your online business or other business interests. Okay, so now she asks a bunch of questions. So I'm loving this because so many of you are going to be asking the same questions. So she said, it would be great to hear about making that shift from local business owner in one area to expertise or coach in another area online. Do you ever feel torn between these businesses? Okay, so here is what I want you guys to start thinking about if you are looking to add another source of revenue. First of all, going online does not necessarily mean adding another business. It could just be, like I said, adding a revenue source, adding another funnel in the online marketing world that still is a major component of your current business you have. So I have 2 brick and mortar performing arts academies. Right now, I am currently working on an online funnel. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I am wanting to make sure I stay ahead of what is going on in my market, and it's too fresh to even say, but I'm working on something right now behind the scenes that is not another business, but it is another revenue stream for my studios in case this is a much longer term than next year. Or if we don't hit our numbers for next year because people are thinking, I'll just wait it out and play it by ear, right? You've got to be proactively thinking about this, all right? So here's what I want to add. Number 1, commit to one thing before adding another. This is the biggest thing that I can tell you. I am starting new revenue streams all the time, like I just said, but what you don't hear some of the times is I'm delegating to somebody on my team who can like take that and implement and own that role. So between my two businesses, I range between like 45 and 55 employees, okay? We have so many employees that I actually don't know the real number count right now, okay? I can delegate like a crazy person. I can add new funnels and new things all the time. If you compare yourself to me, but you are a one-woman show and you don't have the team or the capacity like I do, it's going to be very, very hard to model what I'm doing. So I always like feel for you, and I know I'm like, yes, you are multi-passionate, but I owned my studios for like 15 years before I ever, how many did I really own them for? I think I owned them for 12 years before I ever added on the online business, okay? Big, big difference. So be careful you're not jumping too fast and adding things that you cannot handle, all right? Now, starting a new business or new revenue stream is hard. I don't want to act like you can build a funnel and make this much money and you'll be fine. I really want you to understand that there is so much work that goes into it. There is so much stuff that you have to do before it eventually becomes profitable, if ever, okay? So don't spread yourself too thin. And then pick one at a time. Know that if you're multi-passionate, you can do all of the things, but I want you having them in order. Like, this is my first priority. When this is starting to be like more mastered, then I'll diversify into step 2 or the next business or the next funnel or whatever it is, okay? Pick one at a time. Stay laser focused, all right? Number 2 is pick a blue ocean, okay? So first of all, please learn from my mistakes and do not go into a large niche that is just oversaturated, okay? A red ocean is an oversaturated market. For example, if you decide, I'm gonna teach how to lose weight, right? That is such a saturated market. So a blue ocean is where you would be really niching down and become the expert in one thing. So maybe you're not just talking about losing weight, but you're going to be talking about keto. You're going to be talking about, Corinne Crabtree has like how to lose 100 pounds. Like that is a specific person she's not talking to. She's not just talking to everybody, right? So I want you like intermittent fasting. Like these are niches where you niche down and you find your blue ocean. So you really have to be careful that you're not just going like, oh, perfect. My experience is here. I'm going to do that. You and everybody else, right? You'll have better results the more specific you get and you become truly the expert in what it is you do, right? You need a specialty. You need an area that you can focus your energy and attention, all right? I hope this is making sense. So number 3, whatever you pick, please make sure you are actually credible in what it is you are doing. So in this post, she had said, I'm a lawyer, right? So I'm thinking she's starting an online business and she's doing something in the lawyer space. And then she said, but I've been a food blogger, right? Now, if she wouldn't have said I have best-selling books and recipes and all of this stuff, okay, I would have maybe been like, don't switch. Now, obviously, we're not having a real conversation, so I can't go deeper here. But what I want you to see is, be careful you're not taking the area that you're credible in and switching it to something you're not credible in. Now, this person could actually be very credible in the food space. She's been doing it since 2013. It shows she's got the longevity of it, has a best-selling book, etc., right? However, just make sure, like I get this all the time, I'll get the dentist who's like, oh, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do, and then tells me something totally different that has nothing to do with what she's been doing, right? So there are people that teach you how to make 6 figures in your business. And then those people sometimes don't have a 6-figure business, right? It's like, and then they wonder why they're not doing well. And it's because people can tell you have no credibility, right? So you want to make sure that people will want to come to you because they can see why you are the go-to person, all right? So the question is, what makes you different from the rest? Why you? This new business that I'm going to be starting, and I shouldn't even say business, it's a new revenue stream for the studio. This new revenue stream, the first thing I said to the person on my team that I'm working with is, how are we going to do this different? This is what's out there in the market. How are we going to be different? If you don't have that answer, you do not have a business. And when you start to build a funnel where you aren't different, you will definitely take much, much longer to get the results that you want, okay? So I really want you asking yourself questions like, are you your best testimonial? right? These are things where you've got to be really careful. If you're teaching how to create a six-figure business and you don't have a six-figure business, what are you doing? Like, get out of that space immediately, okay? Start teaching things you actually are good at, you've actually had experience with, all right? People do not want a jack of all trades. They want to go to somebody who is specializing in something specific and has real results, okay? So be your own best testimonial or start getting testimonials from people that you've been working with. Okay, number 4 is the most important. Put it out fast and start with a small test funnel, okay? Here's what I need you to know. Please listen. You do not need a whole website. You do not need the perfect logo, the perfect anything. You need to quickly get a logo, a domain name. Don't overthink it. If right now, if you said to me, Stacy, the new revenue stream you're creating, I need the logo, the domain name, the everything, and I haven't even started doing that yet, I could get that to you by the end of the day today. All of it. Like, there is no reason you are taking weeks or months on the perfect logo, the perfect domain name. You're buying domain names for $10,000 because it has to be that domain name. People don't even look at domain names anymore. They're coming from Facebook ads and they're clicking the link and it's not even the real link, right? You don't need to have everything so perfect because in the first stage, you're testing. So by the time you actually get this going, you'll update the logo. You'll probably change the domain name. Like, you'll be doing so many different things that you didn't realize you were doing. Don't overthink it. The business actually starts when you are ready to put out the test funnel, okay? So if you delay putting this out, you're just delaying the start of your business. So when you put out a funnel, a test funnel where you're starting to generate leads, generate sales, that is how you get feedback. So I don't want you to put out a massive website with all your offerings and your prices and your this and your that. I don't want you to waste the money and the time it's going to take you to do it. I want you to build out a one-page website that we call a sales funnel that brings in people to grab their email, that converts them into a sale. So you can start to test and see what is working, what is not, what are people resonating with, and where do we go from here? Does that make sense? Are you with me, guys? Okay. Good. I'm learning not to think so much into that aspect. Yes, please, please, please make sure you're thinking about this. Okay, I'm desperately trying to take my manual therapy online as rehab exercises, but take so long with 2 kids and part-time work. Okay, here's the thing. You have as much time as you're going to make for this, right? However you want to figure this out, you will figure this out, okay? If that means an hour a morning, an hour a day, every Saturday, all day Saturday, you have to figure it out, all right? I have 2 kids. I have multiple businesses. I figure it out, right? If that means investing in daycare or having a friend, a neighbor, your mom, somebody watch, or you swap, figure it out. You need to be resourceful, especially in this stage, okay? Do not let excuses get in the way of what you are trying to build here, okay? Good. I'm so happy to hear. Very helpful. We run a comic book store, and there are literally thousands of SKUs and one-off items. What would you recommend to get selling quickly? Okay, so if you have thousands of products, have you ever thought about taking thousands of products and turning them into one offer where they're not just buying one book, but they may be buying a pack or a combo or something exciting like that? Don't just think about one-offs. What can become your best seller? So we're right now in the month of July doing a 30-day boot camp where we're helping build out your first funnel. On week 2, we are doing creation, and we're talking about products versus offers. And it sounds like you have lots of products, but it doesn't sound like you have offers, okay? And I really, really want to make sure you're thinking about that. Oh, I love it. She says, I'll consider my backside kicked. All right, good. I'm glad to hear it because it needs to happen. It kind of feels like I was driving home today and I was like, driving home from dropping my kids off at my mom's, and I was like, things feel really good right now. Things feel comfortable. And you know what I realized? I'm like, this is like the calm before the storm. That's what this is. This is not things are back to normal. This is the calm before the storm, and we have no idea when it's going to hit, and that is scary. And every state is very, very different in when it's going to hit. And all you can do is not be calm at a time like this, but be proactive in a time like this. Start figuring out what you need to put into place, what you need to do. If you are thinking about building a new offer, building a new business, join us in our 30-day boot camp. We actually kick off today. I have to run in like 2 minutes because I'll be going live in there at noon Central. So we've got a 30-day boot camp, building your first funnel. It is for beginners, or it is for people that have been in business and you're like, I have been missing the mark. I had somebody message me yesterday and say, she's been doing very, very well. Like gave me her numbers and said, I'm not doing any of this stuff that you're teaching. I'm leaving money on the table. Okay? Don't leave money on the table. Get prepared, get ready, and be proactive. Okay? All right, you're so welcome. Yes, I'm glad I got you thinking. I love it. A book box. Yes, absolutely. So really packaging up into a no-brainer offer. This morning I was sharing some information with my foot traffic formula, and I may or may not have given them a no-brainer offer of like really coming up with why would they buy and why would they buy now and how does this look? That is what we are doing for you in our 30-day boot camp. More details, you can go to stacytushel.com/bootcamp. Get signed up. We kick off today, July 1st. We're going the entire month of July. This week is technically our prep week of content. And then next week, we dive in with weeks 1 through weeks 4. We are doing foundational principles, creation, helping you understand like what is the foot traffic formula? How do we build a funnel to get people, to get leads, to turn them into customers, right? And to keep that cycle going automated. Then after that, you're going to be building the funnel. We will hold your hand through it. You are going to walk away with a funnel complete in the next 30 days. The last week, we're going to show you where do you put that funnel when it's done? What kind of traffic should you be driving to it? Where should it go? It's kind of like that. I got a funnel. Now what do I do, right? How do I fill it? That's what we're teaching you on week 4, okay? So again, you guys, stacytushel.com/bootcamp. I'm so happy to hear this was so helpful. You know what I'm going to do really quickly because I have a few more minutes left and I want to go into a couple specific details that this person had said. So she said, do you ever feel torn between your businesses? I don't. And the reason why I don't feel torn is because I've separated when I'm doing what. And you have to understand, my studio is at this stage in business where there are, 40, 50 plus employees and managers and a leadership team, and we're automated and we're a very well-oiled machine, right? So I don't have to worry or feel like they need me. They get me in the capacity that they need me. I am still the visionary. I am still there to lead and to manage, and they're there and they've got me how they need it, right? But in this other business, in foot traffic, I am in this business, like this is my day-to-day. This is more of my time spent over here than in my studios. My studios are 18 years old. I have been putting systems in place for almost 2 decades. So I don't feel torn. If you feel torn, it's probably because the one business still needs you, okay? How emotionally and mentally do you step into a space while still being present mentally in your brick and mortar? Same example. I am not mentally present in my brick and mortar. My systems that I have put in place for the last 20 years, right, is how I can mentally be there without having to be there. Systems are being fulfilled and being done the way that I want them to be done because I've set them up that way. If you feel like you've got that pull, there's a disconnect here somewhere, okay? So I made the pivot after I had been doing this for so long that for me, it was an easy pivot. There wasn't like, oh, I'm abandoning them or I'm leaving them. They didn't even notice when I was gone because that is how like strategic I was being with my time, okay? So I still work on my studio business, right? I don't work in the building, but I work on it. But I work on it on set days, set times, set meetings, all of that. That's what I want you to be thinking about before you add on another, okay? Why do I only have in my bio on Instagram all about my online business? Because that bio is my personal brand. That bio is like Stacy Tushel, the business. It is nothing. It's not really my personal account. Make sense? So I don't have a personal Instagram. Like I have a business Instagram, and that is it. So that you're seeing the Stacy Tushel business, and then if you would go to my studio's Instagram, you would see the studio's business, right? So they're completely separate. They're both businesses. If I were to add a third business to the mix, I would have to create a third Instagram account with that username and things like that. Good? Okay, Danielle says hashtag goals. You will get there, Danielle. Okay, did I answer everything else? How did you make that pivot? Yeah, so You pivot when, honestly, I pivoted when I was needing more. I was needing more challenge. It was time for growth. It was feeling easy. I was almost feeling bored and unmotivated because I didn't know what to do. So that's when I created a new project because I love working. Like, I love it. I would never retire. Like, my CPA said, what are your retirement goals? I said, until my brain cannot function anymore and they have to get rid of me and my business. Like, that is when I'm leaving, right? I love working. But when I'm so good at systems and delegating that eventually the business doesn't need me anymore and I need to create a new project, okay? That is how I made the pivot. You have to ask yourself, what do you want? What are your goals? They could be very, very different, okay? All right, I hope this was helpful. If you have more follow-up questions on this, please comment below. We'll definitely be doing more series on this as people in the small business space are really questioning, how do I go online? What do I do? What does this look like? We'll make sure to do some follow-up podcasts as well, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much. Again, if you want to jump in our 30-day boot camp, we're kicking off in a couple minutes. StacyTushel.com/bootcamp. All right, see you soon.